students, today we are going to discuss about saturated and unsaturated solution. Before that, we have discussed about what is matter. Matter has been divided into pure substance and impure substance. In impure substance, we have discussed mixtures. Mixtures have been divided into homogeneous and heterogeneous. In homogeneous, we have discussed true solution. In heterogeneous, we have discussed suspensions and collide. This whole topic has been completed. Today, we are going to deal with the saturated and unsaturated solutions which come under true solution. Saturated solutions. What are saturated solutions? Solutions which contain the maximum amount of solute dissolved in a given solvent at given temperature and which cannot dissolve more solute at that temperature is called as saturated solution. Once again, a solution which contains the maximum amount of solute dissolved in a given solvent at a given temperature and which cannot dissolve any more solute at that temperature. Suppose if I take 100 ml of water, to that I add 20 grams of sugar. Will it dissolve more? Okay, let me add more 5 grams, 25. Will it dissolve more? Let me add more 1 gram, 26 gram. At one point, that water will not allow to dissolve more amount of the solute. If you will dissolve the sugar, it will left at the bottom. It will leave at the bottom. That kind of solution is called as saturated solution, which cannot dissolve any more solute at that temperature. Then what is unsaturated? A solution which can dissolve more solute in it at given temperature is called as saturated solution. A solution that can dissolve more solute in it. Suppose if I take 100 ml of water, add 2 grams. Can it dissolve more? Yes. Add more 2 grams. Can it dissolve more? Yes. So that kind of solution is called as unsaturated solution. Next, solubility. The maximum amount of solute in grams which can dissolve in 100 grams of solvent. The maximum amount of solute means if you take 100 ml of water, to that how much maximum solute you can dissolve in it. To form a saturated solution is called as solubility. We'll go with the in-text question of page 18. The first question, differentiate between homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture with example. This question is a repeated question. In the page A15, second question, we have done second question. The same question we have done on the page 15. So write the answer from there. Next, how are sole, solution and suspension different from each other? Solution is true solution, soles are called as colloids and suspension. We have to write the properties. We have to differentiate on the basis of properties. Solution, suspension, colloidal solution, which is also called as sole. First of all, appearance. Solution can be clear, transparent. Suspension can be opaque, translucent, and colloids are always translucent. Nature. Solutions, true solutions are homogeneous. Suspensions are heterogeneous. Colloidal solutions are also heterogeneous. Filterability. They pass through the filter paper, ordinary filter paper. They are so large that they do not pass through the filter paper. That is, the solute particles are so large that they do not pass through the filter paper. Colloidal solute particles are very small that they can pass through the filter paper. Stability. True solutions are stable, whereas the suspensions are unstable and colloids are also stable. Visibility. Solute particles are not visible to the naked eye, whereas particles of the suspensions are visible to the naked eye, and the particles of colloidal are not visible. They are so small. Tyndall effect. True solutions do not show the Tyndall effect. Suspensions show Tyndall effect, and colloidal solution also show Tyndall effect. These are the properties which we have discussed under the category of true solution, suspensions and collide. Next, one numerical. Take saturated solution of 30 grams of sodium chloride and dissolve in 100 grams of water at 293 Kelvin. Find the concentration at this temperature. We know that formula of concentration is amount of solute by amount of solvent. 36 by 100. That gives the concentration. Divide it, you will get the answer. Next, we will go with the separation technique. There are many separation techniques to separate the mixture. Today only we are going to start the topic. The first one is evaporation. Evaporation. To separate dye from blue or black ink. Blue or black ink contains a dye, that is, if it is a blue ink, it contains a blue dye along with water. If it is a black ink, it contains black dye along with water. How can you separate blue dye from the blue ink or black dye from the black ink? We can separate that through the technique called as evaporation. Blue or a black ink is a homogeneous mixture of blue or black dye in water. As I had told that blue ink or black ink is a mix of blue dye plus water, black dye plus water. The components of this mixture can be separated by the process called as evaporation. What is this technique evaporation? Okay, for this take a beaker. This is a beaker. This beaker, I have filled the beaker half with the water. I have filled it with the water. Now, on the mouth of the beaker, I have placed a watch glass which contains black ink. This is a watch glass which contains blue ink or a black ink, any ink you can take. And this beaker is placed on a tripod stand, and under the tripod stand we have kept a burner. Now start heating the beaker. What will happen when you will heat the beaker? The water which is present in the beaker will get heated and the water changes into water vapor. As it changes into water vapor, it rises up and touches the bottom of the watch glass. This watch glass gets heated up. The ink which is present in the watch glass also gets heated up. The water which is present in the ink gets evaporated. They get evaporated. So, when all the water gets evaporated, only the black dye is left or the blue dye is left. So, in this way, you can separate dye from water, okay, or blue dye or black dye from the ink. This is the technique called as evaporation. This technique I have explained here. Put a few drops of blue ink on a watch glass and place it on a beaker half full of water. The water in the beaker is heated and the steam is formed, which will in turn heat up the ink. The water present in the ink will evaporate and blue residue will be left on the watch glass. It may be noted that direct heating of the ink is avoided because blue dye may decompose on direct heating. You cannot heat the ink directly. When you heat the ink directly, the dye which is present, it will decompose. Application. This technique is used to salt from the seawater. So this is the whole evaporation technique. You have to learn the activity and application and diagram. It is an important technique. You can get it for the 3 marks. Today I am going to end my session till here. Thank you.